And I'm Joseph Moyer. This is Good Morning LaLa Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now also available on Apple TV, Roku, and Twitch.
It's hashtag Transformation Tuesday. We're going to talk about transforming your life via the principles that you live by. What are the principles you live by? Good question, right? We come together each day to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, and align with our own personal truth and the universe, because the universe is my BFF.
Yes, the universe rules, quite literally.
Quite literally.
We're so excited for this hashtag Transformation Tuesday and our very special guest this morning. Hello, everyone, back in the studio, and good morning.
Good morning.
We're so excited that you're joining us. You know, Vandana Hart is in the house. She is a UN ambassador, an incredible artist, dancer, and entrepreneur, and she's got a hit show on Netflix globally. We Speak Dance. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us today. We're so excited to talk to you more later in the show. But first, we want to know what your morning routine is. How do you start your day?
Okay, well, starting the day is super important. Meditation immediately, guided meditation, use different ones. I love Insight Timer for that. And then I have to go to nature, do a beautiful long walk on the beach. And then a must is dancing. Some kind of dance move, a shake, a twerk, a twirl. That's the way I start the day.
I'm all about the twirl. Is there a song that you danced to this morning?
Well, I really love WizKid. It's a Nigerian artist. It's so much fun to dance to his stuff. Yep.
Okay, we're gonna have to play a little WizKid.
I've never been envious of anyone's career, but I'm a little bit envious of her career, I gotta say. She goes around the world and goes like dancing.
Right?
What?
Yeah.
Who does that?
Vandana Hart does. Russell Reynolds is in the house, and what a perfect conversation to be having on hashtag Transformation Tuesday with this coach. Good morning, Russell. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fantastic. How are you?
We're so excited that you're here with us today. Tell us, how do you start your morning? What's your routine?
Breath and gratitude. First, gratitude that I got to take a breath when I woke up. And when I finished that breath, I got to have another one. There's an unlimited supply. That's a fantastic thing to be grateful for starting off. And I'm with her on nature. The more I can really get aligned and get in tune with the beauty and the awesomeness that's all around me, the better my day is going to be. And I started to focus there. Not so much on the twerking. She's on her own now. That's how I like to start.
She's got a monopoly on the twerking, huh?
You can have that.
It's not going to be pretty.
Twerk and twirl, gratitude. You do you, boo. Mark Hawes is in the house. He is coming off the smash hit comedy Little. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
We're so grateful that you're here with us. Thank you for all the laughs. We are just loving the trailer from Little. We're excited to know more about your experience. But first, we want to know how you start your day.
Oh, lots and lots of coffee. I think that's it. It's like wake up, sit there for a second, and like get that coffee going.
Yeah. You know, when Vandana arrived, we were talking about if we were morning people or not. And typically we find that a lot of the entrepreneurs, they love the mornings, but the artists, they thrive at night. Where do you fall into that, Mark?
Kind of a little bit of both. I feel like sometimes I'm not necessarily, I can't stay up super late because then in the mornings I'm not gonna want to get up. But you know, like I kind of try to fluctuate between, you know, being on set, whatever, you know, where, you know, when you need to. Just I do prefer mornings.
Spoken like a true actor. He can just play the role of a morning person. We love that. Mona Dan is in the house. She is the creator of the V Healing. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for
This is
having me.
going to be a very transformational conversation on acupuncture, cupping, healing, and ear seeds. Do you know what ear seeds are?
I have no idea what an ear seed is.
She's going to tell us, and she's made of 24 karat gold. So this is going to change your life. But first, we want to know, Mona, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
So my morning routine, I initially don't look at my phone until I take a hot shower and play with my son, have a little talk with my husband, and then I step into the day. And the most important thing for me and what I always preach is to have a nice warming breakfast in the morning to really step up the day right and have like a nice amount of energy for your adrenals to work with throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. I love that she says step up.
Yes.
Raise the vibrations, right?
Go.
Rise and shine. Well, thank you all so much for being with us. We're excited to continue the conversation later in the show.
So what's up with the weather?
I know, it's wild, right?
It's had a long winter, and it was a bleep of spring and it's cold again.
Yeah, I heard people at the gym say, "This is not why I moved to LA.
Right.
Not for this."
It's funny because I get asked that all the time. Well, what brought you to Los Angeles? And I say sunshine is a dream. Of course, LA typically is the land of eternal summer, but I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I really love like this R&R that the gloominess imposes on me. Because with the sunshine, I'm not gonna slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does sometimes. It can get to be a long summer as well, so I welcome the cold a little bit longer because you know there's going to be a couple months where you're like, okay, it's pretty hot.
Yeah, I don't like cold weather or cold people, so that's just my thing.
You just like Miami.
I just love the sunshine.
His heart's in Miami.
Well, we're about to turn up the heat as we celebrate and honor the 46th annual Daytime Emmys. We've got some special nominees coming on the show tomorrow, and throughout the rest of the week, we're going to be honoring some of the vendors and the collaborators and the sponsors of the main event. Of course, you can follow along on our Instagrams, and I'll be behind the scenes at Jeslyn covering the main event.
Love that, Jess.
I won't be with you guys that much. A little bit
I'm
in
so
and out.
sad about
I'm
that.
going Saturday. I'll come over Saturday. You guys will probably already be gone for the Style Lounge, but I'll be heading over there after. But we have the retreat, so I won't be
Yes.
here Thursday, Friday. So I'm gonna miss you guys. But
We will miss you
but
so much,
I'm
Erin.
so excited, and I know that everyone is exactly where they're supposed to be. And it's funny because
sure.
last year on the Emmys, I had to choose again. I was speaking at the Boss Babe event, or going to cover the Emmys with you guys, Daytime Emmys, and I had to choose what it's transformation with women, and so I have to know perfection, and there's only perfection, and I never get sad with any of it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Totally. And that's I think that's why I love working with both of you, because you have each like your little unique niches that allows us to do it all and cover it all.
Right? I mean, that's the
best part.
that's the brilliant
Yeah.
of it, right?
It is, absolutely.
So
And you
cool.
just get to float in between.
I just float. Yeah, I'm just a floater, really. On the bridge.
That's what we like about you. You're like the neutrality of all of it. You keep us all
yeah.
grounded in that. So speaking of this morning, I was up a little bit before, I don't know, 4 something, sleeping in. I was like sleeping in for me now. And I was working on, because the girls in Soul Society get trained. They do a 300-hour program to get certified in subconscious reprogramming and become spiritual coaches. And I had to write out what their oath was, their ethics as a spiritual coach. And so I was writing it all out, and I've been living by, not all the time, but living by these principles. And I was thinking, if somebody lived by these principles in their life, they would majorly transcend their life. So for example, some of the principles are do your inner work. Hold equanimity, meaning that you don't hold judgment, you have non-attachment, and so on and so forth. Be your word, show up when you say you're going to do something. Things like, what was the next one I was going to say? No evaluation.
What do you mean by that, the zero evaluation?
Okay, it's a great question. So evaluation means that, well, when you're in as a coach, instead of saying like, oh, I think that if you did this differently, or it seems like you always have the same pattern, you don't do that. You keep asking questions, keep allowing them to have their own breakthrough. You can refer back to universal law or truth, but you never have your own opinion on someone else's growth.
Love that. Not imposing your opinion.
Yeah, easier said than done.
Absolutely, because we all have that friend that wants to tell us how we should be showing up to our lives. Oh, well, you know what, let me tell you what you should do, and you don't actually ever feel heard. But of course the person really does care. So Rob, how do you approach a situation with a person like that who's evaluating you, even though they're doing it lovingly?
Yeah, for me, it's just being the change that I want to see in them, right? So it's not then evaluating back, because then you say, you shouldn't be saying that thing that you're saying about me.
Right.
So you don't want to get caught up in that trap of giving them a taste of their own medicine. Instead, just be the change that you want to see in them, and that, for the most part, means being full of equanimity.
But I think
and peace.
there's a pitfall in spiritual work, meaning that we do judge. We should judge for ourselves, in that we should know what we like and what we don't like, and that's the whole point. That we get to have people have their own experience of life, their own truth, but we get to place the boundaries, and we get to say, you know what, this does work for me, or this doesn't work for me. And even as a spiritual coach, we get to say that there's clients that I won't work with if they're inconsistent, if they, are just looking to vent and actually not committed to actual transformation. I won't work with them.
Yeah.
So I think it's important in life and as a coach to say, this is what works for me.
Yeah.
This doesn't work
I
for
would
me.
call that discernment.
Yeah,
I would call that
discernment.
discernment.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because I found to be able to practice discernment in my own life, I really have to get still and I have to get quiet, because when you're in the chaos of it all, to set those boundaries can sometimes be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to say no to something you're meant to say yes to, or say yes to something you're not meant to say no to. So really, like, getting still with yourself, and whether that's a meditation or just a quiet moment. I like to light a candle, literally. And these are one of my new favorite ones. These are Urban Relief.
cool.
Those are cute.
They are.
So cute.
So cute.
And it's a cannabis-infused coconut candle.
Wow.
So it's literally meant to calm you, to release whatever inner tensions you might be having. So if you don't want to partake in cannabis or you don't want to have a cocktail, you can literally light this calming
You can
candle.
smoke it straight from the candle. It's going.
and have it still
They just
quiet
thought of a new
moment.
business.
And for me, candles are a ritual. At night, I really like to light them and just have a moment with myself. You know, that's really important to me.
Yeah.
I love that,
I love
Jess. I
that.
think that's one reason they use candles and flames as like metaphors in spiritual teachings, right?
I like that. Yeah, all right.
It's amazing. It's incredible to me, all the things that they can put cannabis in. Isn't it?
Including candles.
Including candles.
I did use that diffuser.
Did you?
Did you guys use it?
I didn't use it yet.
Oh, I put the little drops in there. It's on my desk. I was like feeling all woohoo.
So yesterday on the show, Zoe Blackman, an incredible aromatherapist, gifted us some Garwananda diffusers and essential oils. So what oils did you blend, Darren?
I like the lavender and the lemon. Those are my favorite.
Yeah,
they
the
make me
lavender.
just feel like springy and grounded. And, yeah.
It's like a relaxed alertness, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
the lavender helps you
yeah.
relax, the lemon helps you.
I love those two.
Absolutely. So if you're point of the conversation, if you're going to set the boundaries and the principles for your life, get still with yourself so you can be clear on what those are without the noise of your mind.
Yeah.
Right?
It is interesting. I don't think many people have even thought of like what are the principles that I want to live by.
agree.
How do I want to like what ethics work for me in my own soul? And I think it's important. I think so many people don't even take the time to sit down with themselves and say, who do I want to be?
Yeah, it's so true, right?
bizarre,
yeah.
right?
How did you come up with the principles, Erin? Is just through life?
It was through leadership programs. Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to hold the distinction, but I'm going to change it to discernment because that really is what it is for people to see, because I think it's such a pitfall for people. They think I should just be okay with everyone and everything. That's not true at all. We have to discern, like you say, to put the boundaries, to know what we do, what works for us and doesn't work for us in our friendships, in our relationships, with our clients, with our family. What
Yeah.
is that? And it's going to be unique for each person.
Yeah, and it's doing that, I think, from a non-reactive, non-defensive place, right?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. Talking divinity. That's perfect. I love it. That's exactly the idea, though, right? Yeah.
Right.
Well, we can also become victims of our programming and our social programming. That happens to so many people. The way you're raised, whether it's the religion, the politics. I grew up in a very small town in Michigan, and there was certain expectations that I was taught should be a part of my life. I should find this husband, I should have my children, I should live by these rules to meet everyone else's expectations of myself. Those are the principles I was taught I had to live by. Now I'm grateful because a lot of those values and principles helped me become the better person that I am. But I needed to break away from that to get still with myself, light a cannabis candle and come to LaLa Land and figure out what those principles were that I actually wanted to live by, that were actually my truth and not what was imposed on me.
Oh, I love that, Jess.
important.
That's profound. I remember Osho, the spiritual teacher, would always say, I love when I discover somebody who has expectations for me because the first thing I do is I disappoint them as quickly as
love it.
humanly
So fun,
possible.
right?
He's like, I break them of that habit.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, it's so fun, but it's a great conversation, conscious conversation. That's why I love the show so much. So let's take a break. When we come back, we will dive into the conscious conversation with our guests. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's always hotter in the daytime, and I'm here with the magical woman who's curating and creating it all, Lisa Lou.
Hi, Jesslyn. We're always so happy to have Good Morning LaLa Land, but especially you. And we're so grateful that you guys joined us again to celebrate this amazing time with the Daytime Emmy Awards. And welcome to the Daytime Emmys Luxury Style Lounge. Thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, my name is Dimitri Loiseau. Welcome to the Luxury Style Lounge provided by RC Kaylin.
Dana Cornelius, and welcome to the Style Lounge.
Hi, I'm Terry Ivins from the Bay. Welcome to the Golden Style Lounge.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We are here with the creator and host of We Speak Dance, Vandana Hart. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
I don't even know what to say. Okay, you have a show. You've gone around the globe dancing with different cultures. I want your job. Just
She's not lying. She really
I'm
does.
not joking.
Yeah.
Serious.
It's not bad.
It's so incredible what you've accomplished. It's seen on Netflix globally, but what you're really doing is connecting people across cultures through the language of dance. So can you tell us about what your mission is with the show?
Definitely, yeah. So We Speak Dance, I feature different dance cultures all over the world, really to unite people. I think there's so much divide happening, hatred, war, and we need as much content, media, stories, people that inspire us, that show us that across cultures we can have these international languages that deeply connect us, make us fall in love with these characters. And I think dance is my secret weapon to enter different cultures and really show the power of this beautiful ancient art form.
Oh, we'd love to show that power now here on the show. Let's take a look.
I want to do the men's dances.
Okay.
I'm coming back for more, bitches. I'm visiting from New York and I'm looking for the best dancers. Am I in the right place?
There was music and dance for every day in Africa.
There's a lot of cultural differences. Everybody puts their own spice in the pan.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sexy motherfucker.
Dance comes from the soul. It's a spiritual thing. You're feeling your emotions. You're connecting with your community. All of these things are what keep us human.
I think this is what dance does. I'm going to keep dancing.
Sign me up.
How much fun is that?
So tell us which of all the cultures, what things stood out for you? Which dances?
Definitely. Well, I just got back from filming in Brazil, in Rio for Carnival. And the government there has threatened to cut budgets for their samba dancing. So I decided to go this year because of that. The show is kind of a mix of dance and politics. And being there for Carnival and seeing the energy, every community has their own dance and their own incredible choreography at the parade. And it's like a storybook unfolding. Carnival is actually hundreds of stories that each parade line is a different page. And just the energy of thousands of people dancing together all night long till 6 a.m. telling this story. It was one of the most inspiring experiences.
But isn't that what salsa is? A bunch of different dances that came together to form one dance, which is kind of funny because now it's like very regimented. I guess it's like funny.
Yeah.
But the samba, what do you mean the government is cutting things on? How does the government plan to their dance?
Well, they're cutting the samba budgets for the samba schools in the favelas, so it's kind of a direct attack on the people. And so it's a very political time to go. And I think what's cool about the show, it's not just a show, it's a movement. We show up where history is happening, and how can we use dance as a way to change the way history goes. So I went to South Africa for Mandela's 100th celebration to cover dance around that moment, because there's a sense of hope and like renewed energy, and like there's young people are super excited about their country, and it's an interesting time to feature the dance. And same with Brazil. Now, with these challenges with their government and cutting budgets for art and culture, it's really an important time to showcase how profound their dance is, and that the world supports them.
And you're doing it in such a powerful way. You were an ambassador. What was your journey to becoming this, dance and political advocate?
Yeah, well, most of my career I've like separated myself as a dancer. I trained at Alvin Ailey and I've like danced my whole life, but then I never thought dance could really change the world. So I was like, where can I do that? And the UN was the natural fit. So I worked on women's rights and safety for much of my career. But then when I lived in Kenya, I was setting up women's rights and safety programs around the world, and I started mixing dance workshops in these countries, and I started to see that actually when I started with dance, I would connect with people immediately and was able to make more progress than just like a traditional UN program without music or dance.
It's so fascinating.
And I ended up becoming a judge on So You Think You Can Dance Kenya. And from there, I was like, well, I can't hide my love for dance anymore. People know now. So then I was like, why not combine the two? And that's how We Speak Dance was born.
Wow. I used to go salsa dancing a lot when I was in my doctorate. I'd go out alone like at 10 o'clock at night. I'd bring my shoes, and the culture was so nice. The people, it was incredible. I didn't, people, I think they think that it's like this weird thing to go out. And everyone was so, there was like rules. You couldn't ask someone to dance twice in a row. But what would happen is I would be so happy when I left. And I feel like it helps our emotional state. It helps, just with connecting with human beings. I feel like in America, we would really benefit to have more dance with all the obesity and sadness and all that stuff. How do you see that we could implement dance more? What kind of programs are out there? What's happening in the dance world?
Definitely. I think, there's dance that's kind of intimidating that you see on like the competition shows where people are doing flips and power moves. And I just went to like this break dancing battle, and like that's kind of intense. But I think there's also just dancing in front of your mirror, every morning. That's part of my ritual, is definitely just like getting the body moving and not dancing for performance, but dancing for yourself and feeling, how's my body feeling today? How can I move in a way that is responding to what I need? And like that could be smooth, or that could just be like totally freaking out and shaking all over the place. And dance has been used for centuries to heal and to connect to the gods. You see that across every culture, that there's ceremonies where people actually enter a trance state through dance.
Dervishes.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think we've kind of forgotten that power and connection that we have with dance, and I think we're starting to wake up again, hopefully, and movements like ecstatic dance, 5 rhythms are really inviting spaces where if you're not a trained dancer, you can just come and be and move freely. Or just go take a dance class. Like if there's a style that you're really curious about trying, LA and cities around the world usually have it. Right. One girl wrote to me from Turkey. She has one leg, who's been watching We Speak Dance, and she said, I was so inspired. I danced in public for the first time after watching your show. And then I encouraged her to find a dance class, and she started taking salsa classes, the style you love, and made it into the paper, in the local paper.
So great,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
So what can we expect? What can we expect? I know you can't talk much about your season 2, but what can we expect? When someone watches your show, it's some political, it's some inspiration. What else can they expect?
Well, you get to meet like some of the most inspiring people around the world. So in the Lebanon episode, we crash a wedding, an interfaith wedding. We meet a male belly dancer who talks about gender and dance as protest and revolution. And then, we hit the nightlife, and it really is this journey of where by the time you leave a place, you've traveled with me, you feel this connection to the place, the people, the culture, the history. Hopefully you want to go there, and I think you get to see the place from a different perspective. Like in Nigeria, Lagos, what do you imagine? You think of war, crime, poverty. On this show, you see something different, and you might book a trip there.
What would you say the greatest lesson you've learned has been?
That's really great. Wow. I think just my own kind of limiting beliefs are around the power of art in music. I've been so challenged through this process that I really thought, yeah, like as a dancer, that wouldn't be enough to change the world. But now my mission is to create dance ambassadors around the world, and any of you can become one by sharing your love of dance and how powerful it is that you can instantly unite and connect with anyone deeply through dance. And
I sign myself up.
she's a dance ambassador. Or do I have you two in?
I think I'm gonna have to take some lessons from you first, but I'll accept that challenge. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So tell people where they can find you and the show.
Definitely. You can find me at Vandana Heart. It looks like Vandana, Vandana Heart, and then at We Speak Dance as well on Insta, Facebook, and of course the show is on Netflix worldwide, so you can tune in any country.
Amazing.
So appreciate
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.
Brad Grunberg.
And you're watching
How to Start.
What is Pussy Poppin', you beautiful humans? My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another episode of Sippin' the Tea.
Good Morning LaLa, it's America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of these interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show can be seen on EverTalk TV, now available on Apple TV.
This is my first TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you.
Thank you guys so much for watching. You can always find these videos and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land on Transformation Tuesday. No better than to have a transformational coach, writer, author, speaker. Russell Reynolds is in the house. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
Thank you. I'm fantastic.
Pleasure,
man. You guys, I'm inspired by the first guest. I'm inspired by all of you. I actually want to interview you. Like, you guys are amazing. The gifts that you're bringing to the world is just such a blessing.
That proves you're a coach.
Yeah. No.
Proves you're a coach.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. You know, I'm really excited about Rusty and the Circus of Doubt. Tell us a little bit about your book.
So it's my first children's book, but it's really a personal development book in disguise. It's got a message for all ages, and I was inspired to write the book when I heard about how these young circus elephants are trained, how they're shackled with these heavy chains, and they pull and try to get away, but they can't. Well, obviously the chain's too big and they're too small, and eventually they stop trying. From that moment forward, even as full-grown adult elephants, they're held in place with this tiny, thin rope attached to a little wooden stake. Now, they could snap it in half and rip the whole circus tent down, but they don't because they don't believe that they can. And I heard that, wow, what a metaphor for our lives. How many of us are chained to a job, a circumstance, a relationship, a belief system, right? Yes. That we think is this unbreakable chain. In reality, just a tiny, thin rope.
Wow.
So the book follows the story of Rusty, a young elephant named after the chain he was bound by, and his journey of self-discovery and eventual empowerment through the Circus of Doubt, which is the system designed to keep him playing small.
Wow. Russell, would you share a bit about your personal circus? and the chains that you broke free from?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I don't think I'm alone in this, that the not good enough is the chain that held me back most of my life. And it is an ongoing battle. That, you know, it's funny, that thing just keeps showing up in different ways, and it's just remembering that. And, you know, for me, through whether it started when my dad left when I was 3, or, you know, getting beat up in school when I was, you know, scrawny and didn't play sports or anything like that, whatever it is, these seeds of not good enough can really put us in this circus of doubt, in this prison. And you know, society in and of itself can be disempowering, right? Where that's the circus of doubt, but it's the one in here that's the real problem, right? And anybody or anything that tells you you are less than amazing is lying. The problem is when we start telling the lie to ourselves. And I did that for so many years. And yeah, fear of what other people think and fear of, am I good enough, shows up. But my awareness in response to fear is just face it, right? Shine the light on the shadow, because when you shine a light on a shadow, it disappears. It's not real.
It's interesting because if you take a look at like prevailing, the word prevail, it really means to be more powerful than anything, is to prevail. And the beliefs out there and going past our past programming, you know, how do you do that? There's a million different ways, whether it be through subconscious work, whether it be through getting coaching, whatever that is, but really knowing the truth of who you are. How did you come to that truth? How did you remember who you are? How did you come back to that?
Ongoing process, right? We're all a work in progress to some extent. You know, it's been a journey. I mean, I didn't fit in at any point growing up. I mean, I quit high school to go live at a spiritual community in Scotland. Wow. Yeah, I made that my school. So, like, it's been going and going and going. And, you know, a big piece for me is recognizing, I mean, you're a doctor of divinity. You understand that divinity exists within each and every one of us. And it's not metered out in you know, different portions.
Only you got it. No, not so much.
Well, she's a doctor of divinity, so she's obviously got more divinity or a different divinity than I do. No, we all have the same spark. And so if anybody in the world has achieved wealth, achieved greatness, achieved whatever it is that you want to achieve, then that seed exists within you too. Go for it. Go for it. Be willing to get messy. Be willing to screw it up. You know, and that was a big one for me. It's like the illusion of perfection, you know, held me back. It's like, oh, it's got to be, I got to have everything just right. It's never going to be just right. I'm not a parent, but any parent will tell you it's never going to be just right. You're right. You're never going to have the right circumstances. Just go. Step forward. When you step forward in faith, the universe responds to that.
So fascinating, because we go, well, I'm not good enough because someone's going to judge me, like, who am I to do this? But then you realize if anyone's judging you, it's because of their own self-doubt within themselves. Like, so it's just this vicious cycle of the limitations that people are projecting out there. So how do you make sure that you are in an environment and around people that only hold you for the highest?
That's the key, is to make sure that you surround yourself with people who see you as your highest good, who see the potential within you, not the problems. And that's up to each of us as individuals, right? Like, I would love to hang out with you guys as often as possible because you all have that energy.
Costs a lot, though, I'll tell you.
These two charge for their time. We do. You know,
we're very discerning, okay?
Right.
I charge a cocktail and a dinner. But on that note, you know, speaking of potential, I'd really like to explore with you the 6 human needs that I know that you really focus on in your teaching.
This was fascinating to me, and this is Tony Robbins. I'll quote Tony Robbins a lot because he's such an inspiration for me and a mentor. But he talks about, regardless of culture, continent, or language, we all have these same 6 human needs. And they're not wants, they're not kind of like to has. These are primal needs. And the first one is certainty, or security, or comfort, right? They're same thing. We have to have some level of that in our lives, whether it's a roof over our heads or a meal on the table. The second is uncertainty, or variety, you know, and Tony says because God has a sense of humor, right? It's because if we knew what every moment of every day was going to be like, it'd be Groundhog's Day. We'd be bored out of our minds. Third is significance, which is huge because people will live and die for significance. You'll see people all the time operating for significance, right? And if that's your prime driver, you're going to have some problems in your life, in my experience, right? Fourth is love and connection, which are grouped together, but they're not the same thing. People want love, but they'll settle for connection. Right? Right? As Chris Rock said, 2 crackheads will stay together forever. Right? That's not love, it's connection.
It's exciting, as he says.
Right. Misery loves company, that's connection. And the 5th and 6th are growth and contribution. These are more spiritual or fulfillment needs. Everything in the universe is either growing or dying. There's no stagnation. If you think you're just sitting still, you're moving backwards. And everything must contribute to something greater than itself or it becomes extinct. And this is where I found, because I was so significance driven in the past, which is easy to become if you're operating from a place of not good enough. But I've come to recognize that the only significance worth having is through love and contribution. How much of an impact, how much of a difference am I making? What kind of a ripple effect am I leaving in the world that's going to last long after I'm gone?
So Russell, how can people understand within themselves where they're operating from?
There's a 6 human needs test that you can find online. Just Google 6 human needs test and it'll give you an idea. Again, if certainty and significance are your prime drivers, you're in for a life of suffering. You know, so figuring out where that is. And the other thing about the needs is we can meet all of our needs in a positive way, a neutral way, or a negative, destructive way. So smoking a cigarette can give me significance, it can give me certainty, but it's not necessarily healthy. So how can I find another way to meet those needs? That's our work, and this is what I help people to do as well. Let's say there's a woman who wants to lose weight, and she means it, she really wants to lose weight, I really want to help her, but she's used food as a substitution for love and connection, right? And that happens all the time. Unconscious parents will bribe their kids with food. Just, here, take this, go away, right? And let's say she gets her sense of significance met or love and connection met from all the attention she gets from being overweight. Her girlfriends are like, come on, Jenny, you can do it. We're so proud of you on this diet. So to her subconscious mind, what I'm actually doing is taking away love, connection, and significance. I don't stand a chance, and neither does she, until she finds a way to meet those needs in a positive, healthy way.
Oh, that's powerful.
So important. So I love Tony Robbins, of course, and so many great teachers. And we think everyone's doing it. You know, I think there's a lot of people go, oh, you know, another life coach. Yes, we need a lot of you guys.
please.
We need everyone we can
Yeah.
get on this planet to help bring this work out. So thank you so much
My
for all of
pleasure.
your work. And this book is
pleasure.
amazing. Where can people get your book?
The book is on Amazon right now, Rusty and the Circus of Doubt. So.
Amazing. Thank you so
Tell
much.
everyone where they can find and follow you if they want to work with you.
Find and follow me, G. Russell Reynolds. My first name is George, so I abbreviate that. So G. Russell Reynolds on Instagram, Facebook, website grussellreynolds.com. Love to talk to you guys and help in any way I can.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Stay
you, guys.
tuned. We'll be right back.
You can just kind of sit there and react with your face as I go through.
I'm introducing an Emmy Award-winning host. I better frickin' get this right.
You knocked it out of the park. You did a great job. I'm so good at what I do, aren't I? Okay.
I hope you're filming right now.
These are the things to take
The
it.
outtakes are the best.
I know.
We
kind of like having her here.
Yeah, she's like, so much good morning, LaLa. We've got things to do.
Room to your set today.
That's right.
I love that.
So tell us about the proper way to actually taste this wine.
Put it in your mouth.
I love you. That's my kind of winemaker.
LOL. As you can see, we have a lot of fun here at EverTalk TV, and I'm so excited to share this journey experience with you. Visit evertalktv.com for your free 30-day subscription. EverTalk TV, anytime, anywhere. What an incredible week here at EverTalk TV. I'm Jasmine Moyer, and we'll see you next time. Taking Hollywood by storm, Mark Hawes is in the house. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on the massive success of Little. I mean, it has been a smash hit. What's the experience been like for you?
It's kind of been a whirlwind, you know, honestly. Like, it was something that I didn't know what it was even going to be when I first auditioned for it, like, a year ago. And it was one of those things where I got a call from my agent. He's like, hey, you booked a movie. And I was like, okay, cool. And then it was like, wait, what? What? Because, you know, there was like this, I was just so, whoa, okay, cool. And it was like down in Atlanta. And then I was like, with who? And Issa Rae and Marseille Martin and Regina Hall, you know, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I did book.
Okay. Universal Pictures, you know, I was like, wow. So I was, yeah.
We have been like, wow.
It
Let's
looks
take a look
hilarious.
at the trailer.
Hello?
Wake up!
Oh, hey, Jordan.
Be awake when I call.
But I don't know when you're gonna call, so when would I sleep?
When I'm not calling. Am I being unreasonable? No.
No, it's not unreasonable at all.
Excuse me?
Taking the boss ladies on a warpath this morning.
I'm money. I got money.
Every morning.
No! Ding dong! Ding dong! Money.
I really think I could help this company if you just gave me a chance.
Just concentrate on being my assistant.
Were you always mean?
I got big and I got rich. So now who gonna check me, boo?
I wish you were my age. Then I'd check you, boo.
What is going on? Is this rich people Postmates? Put me in the middle of that. Woo! Who are you? Well, I'm April with the A for available.
So awesome.
Wow.
It looks like a ton of fun. Was it fun?
Oh my gosh, it was a blast.
Yeah.
It absolutely was. Yeah, I was on set for just under 16 days.
Wow.
So it was, a long haul, but it was great.
So what were you, if you had to go back to being, in elementary school, how much have you changed from then till now? Are you still the same personality?
Yes and no. I mean, I know like we're gonna go a little bit further than elementary, but like in junior high, I wore wind pants. That was like so you could hear me coming a mile away, like the shh, 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 and like I don't know, that was a thing back then.
Yeah, it's like parachute pants.
Right? Exactly, exactly. I mean, I was never cold.
Yeah, that really.
I grew up way upstate New York, so like it gets chilly there, but like you can cuddle that wind,
Well, in those wind pants, were you manifesting this destiny for yourself?
It's just like I hope there's something else.
You were like, life is really funny. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm ready for something else now. So so I definitely have grown up. I've changed. I don't think I've lost the little kid aspect. I think that really helps everyone. Just I think it's important as an adult to learn and always remind yourself to play.
Mm-hmm.
Take time out of your day, just do things and have fun.
It could be easy to say that as an actor, right? Because you get to play all of these roles, but how do you really truly embody that in your everyday real life when you're in the face of rejection? Hollywood is a tough town. Like, how do you stay in that spirit of little?
Oh gosh, it can be tough.
Yeah.
It can be absolutely tough. I think it's one of those things is that you go into every audition and you go, it's my opportunity in here, and you just have to be like, if the stars are aligned, if I look exactly what they're thinking about, if I sound the way they're thinking about, if I was maybe a little bit thinner, maybe a little bit heavier, if I forgot to shave today, and like all that stuff can really start to drain on you, and then it's just like, just forget it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the song "Let It Go" from Frozen.
That sums up life, right?
Clearly, I need a music teacher. Funny enough, you are one.
Hey!
Hey!
Yeah. Before I was an actor, I taught music.
Wow.
Yeah. That was what my undergraduate degree was in music education, concentration in voice.
How fun.
Yeah. And I taught for 3 years in the public schools in New York State. So.
And that broke you of your habit of enjoying music and loving music.
You know what? It actually it instilled it even more.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes out here I don't always get to do that because a lot of the time with film and television, there's not always there's not a whole lot of musical stuff. There is, but I haven't had a chance to actually show that off yet. But I still love it. I still do. I still love the music aspect. It's where I felt I fit in, in my high school years. And the music department was just that, and I still like teaching people.
Right.
From
a spiritual perspective, just going a little bit deeper, one of the most advanced things you can do in this lifetime is find your voice, to really find your specific voice and actually resonate at an actual vibrational level with it, from mantras to whatever. I'm imagining that if you're working with somebody and developing their voice, finding their authentic part of themselves, doing their inner work, how much you do that part of work with them?
I think it's super important. When I went back to get my master's in acting, I went over to England and the Birmingham School of Acting. It's now the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire.
Yes.
It's been queened, we really worked on finding your voice, finding where the voice comes from, and I think that in itself changed how I actually approach teaching now, when I work with a voice student or when I work with someone. And it's about unlocking. It's about finding that low, deep resonance and just allowing it to open up and just let yourself, be heard. And the thing is about voice too is voice is different than most instruments because if the instrument is for instance, saxophone or any other instrument, if it's out of tune or, the reed breaks, it's the instrument's fault. But when it comes to the voice, it's you. And I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, I'm not a good singer, but I have this idea where I think everyone can be taught.
I do too.
Everyone can be trained, and it's a personal thing.
Yes.
It's a very, very personal thing.
Wow.
And it's a fun journey to go on.
So what are you most excited about now? What are your new projects you're working on? What do we have to look forward to?
So a couple of years ago, my writing partner and I sold a script that we wrote when we first came out here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we sold it to a Chinese investor, and it was one of these things we were like, wow, okay. And so now we are in pre-production on a short film where we extrapolated the characters out of it to use for promotional and funding, and so like that's where we are right now, and it's really neat. It's really exciting. It was the very first feature we ever wrote. We had no idea what we were doing at the time we did it, and we had some really awesome mentors that we found out here, and one that is very dear to my heart, Mr. Ken Rothkopf. He's passed away just this last October, but he taught us so much. And I love that man to death, and so like those are the exciting things. So he lives on in our script, and I think that's one of those things that we're super excited about where that's going to go, and yeah.
That's so good.
That's so
well, this little thing is going to become bigger and bigger and bringing your gifts to the world. So thank you so much. Tell people where they can find your personal journey.
They can find me on Instagram at Mark Haas. They can find me on Twitter at Haas, and and my Facebook is Mark Haas as well.
Awesome.
So
Thank you. Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Hey, thank you so much.
Intelligent the human body is.
Okay.
But now I'm just like living in this awe, like I'm creating this human being inside of me. It's wild. It's crazy. And to really try, like my women's bodies are designed to do this.
Would you want to do a home birth as well, or?
Yeah.
I thought with the squeal that was going to be, oh no. Wow.
I do. I
feel like that's brave.
It is brave.
Wow.
I admire many people that, I get through birth, whatever way you want to do it. There's no judgment.
I was at a casino night last night.
Yeah.
We went to celebrate with Maria Conchita Alonso. We have a special look at some of the video from the event last night.
Than 18 animal foundations. My organization is called VEE Fauna, which means Venezuela Endorses Fauna. It's not a non-profit. So I got together, I united with one that has been a non-profit for 11 years. It's called Luchemos por la Vida, Fight for Life. They have an orphanage where many of their kids have HIV. I thank you very, very much for your contribution, because alone we can't do it.
She's such a love.
Yeah, our love and light to Maria Conchita and all the orphanages that she's supporting in Venezuela. It's always great when Hollywood comes together and has a heart and gives back. Visit evertalktv.com for your free 30-day subscription. EverTalk TV, anytime, anywhere. What an incredible week here at EverTalk TV. I'm Jasmine Moyer, and we'll see you next time. Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa, and on this hashtag Transformation Tuesday, I'm so honored to welcome Mona Dan to the show. Thank you so much for being with us today. This is such an important conversation to be speaking on V healing. The name behind it speaks volumes in and of itself. V means life.
Exactly.
In French. Tell us a little bit about your product and the journey you've had as an entrepreneur into bringing this to the world.
So by trade, I'm an acupuncturist, and I started my practice about 5-6 years ago. And through just kind of like working with all the patients and seeing the different needs that people really need in their life, I slowly developed this product line. It started with the supplements and the teas at first, because we treat patients, obviously, but we want them to take something home with them to kind of take that treatment home. Usually we see patients once a week, sometimes twice a week, but what we really want is for them to actually do something themselves at home, not just rely on us to encourage this internal healing.
So I can't help but say, first of all, you're pregnant. I don't know if you can see on there. How pregnant are you?
Any day now. Like,
Yeah, you're like, you can't probably see because the camera's like directly on, but she's very pregnant. And then I can't help but notice there's like little dots in your ear, and it's like beautiful and freaking me out at the same time.
Exactly.
What is going on there?
So what they are, they're 24 karat gold plated magnets.
So they're inside. It's not her like her diamond earrings. They're inside of her ear. You can see them all.
Yeah, they're all throughout the ear, and pretty much we have the same microsystems that they use for reflexology on the hands and feet. We have that on our ears as well. And what we do is we stimulate these points, and they send signals to the reflex centers of the brain to relax the nervous system. So this process lasts over 5 days, and then we have you peel it off, and then you can purchase a package, or you could come in and we reapply to the opposite ear. And it just keeps the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system balanced.
Wow.
It's really interesting. I can speak from personal experience with these ear seeds because acupuncture was one of the ways I was able to cope with the situation I have, which is chronic regional pain syndrome, otherwise known as reflex sympathetic dystrophy. It affects my parasympathetic nervous system. So I'm an avid believer of acupuncture and holistic healing. And for a long time, I'd walk around with it looked like poppy seeds or sesame seeds in my ear.
Yeah.
And I was kind of embarrassed, and people were like, what are those dots in your ear? You have something in your ear. But it was making such an incredible difference because it was living 24 hours with reflexology points. And I think it's so incredible what you've done in this mission and bringing this healing, V-healing, life healing, but making it glamorous in a way where we can really celebrate and feel beautiful about the investment we're making into our bodies.
Exactly, and there's two things about this. One is this has been proven, and it's even used in battlefields for soldiers dealing with pain, trauma, PTSD. It's currently being used. It's used in all sorts of pain clinics throughout the world.
So the little pins that you put in?
No, they're magnets.
They're just
and it's
magnets.
held down by a sticker.
Oh, okay, I thought it was little pins. I'm like, I don't know if I put little pins in my ear.
There's nothing
Hang out
painful. There's nothing painful about it at all. The point might get sensitive, and if any point gets sensitive, we just say take them off. And the really cool thing was, after I started really promoting these, Neiman Marcus saw this, and because of these, and because of what they experienced with them, because obviously they first wanted to feel it to see what really happens with these. I mean, they look cool, they're really nice, they look luxurious, they're 24 karat gold. But we were able to develop a whole spa system that now we're incorporating into not every Neiman Marcus. We're going to start with 5 Neiman Marcuses in the next 2 years, where we're going to open spas of holistic healing inside Neiman Marcus.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
And so tell us about these, because I'm drawn to this one, of course, with the pink rose quartz.
Rose quartz.
But it's not, if you put liquid in here, it doesn't go into
No.
Oh.
And that's how crystals generally work. It's a more magnetic energy. You don't need to have the direct contact with crystals. That's why people place them in their houses. Just think about like spring waters, and it's just like this natural, like being around like a spring system. You know what I mean? It just naturally elevates you. The minerals and aspects of your body just respond better to being in that environment.
So Mona, I'm very curious, what drew you into this pursuit, this mission of holistic healing?
So I definitely wanted to be in medicine, but there was always something missing. And then I was dealing with this chronic nausea for 2 years after traveling to the Middle East, and I was deathly terrified of needles. So some people would say, I do acupuncture, try acupuncture, and I'll be like, there's no way. There's no way, there's no way. And then I started working at this integrative clinic, and it took me another 1.5 years to finally get the guts to be like, okay, fine, I'll give this a shot. Because I would see people coming and going and feeling like so much better.
Yeah.
After 3 treatments, my nausea went away.
Wow.
At the same time, I was taking an Eastern philosophy class on Taoism, which is the root of Chinese medicine. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is medicine and worldly philosophy of like me and nature, the relationship we have to each other, and all that's in between. And it was like the secrets of the world with medicine, with philosophy, with just everything that meant so much to me, that brought so much meaning and passion into my life. So it's a true passion. I'm in love with the medicine. Every day I'm in awe with what we do and what we're able to like give to people. And the product line is just a little plus.
I love it. So what else have you brought here?
So we have our 2-ingredient Turkish soaps. We have coffee.
Happy tea. That's
Yeah.
you. That is you.
That's our most popular tea. It's made with 3 different types of mint,
CBD oil,
safflower and corn flour, and coconut.
Oh, wow.
It's like a vacation in a cup. The CBD oil also is a very, very clean, organic form of topical roll-on oil. That's our new release.
And if somebody wants to come to your spa and get a consultation on the supplements or teas or the crystals that might be best suited for them and their conditions, how can they find you?
So we have 2 locations in LA. We have our West Hollywood location on Melrose, and then we have our Neiman Marcus location in Beverly Hills. And Neiman Marcus carries our whole product line as well, so we have it in both locations. And we're expanding to New York next.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Looks beautiful.
Thank
Stay
you.
tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
Am I the only one dancing?
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land here on Transformation Tuesday. Talking about principles to transform your life into something that's happy, healthy, and wealthy. And so the question I have for each of our extraordinary guests is, what's the one principle that you've discovered that's helped to create a happier, healthier, wealthier life or work life for yourself?
He's like stressed about it.
Don't be stressed.
Are we going down the line?
Don't stress.
Okay.
You can phone a friend if you want.
Oh, thank you. I just think I think the thing for me is when you finally find what you want, and if you don't, it doesn't matter. You will eventually. And I think it's just never giving up. Always continue to push through. There's going to be so much negativity. There's going to be so many naysayers and people that say that you can't do it, and they try to bring you down. And when we talked about it's about vibrating at that higher frequency, and things just start to manifest.
Find your voice.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Fantastic.
yeah.
Love that. Thank you. What about you?
Know that you're enough. Period. Know that you're enough, and you can honestly be, do, or have anything you want. And it may be messy, it may be scary. That's okay, do it anyway. And when you step forward in faith, the universe is constantly conspiring in your favor.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's great. Just be all of you. I think not hiding parts of yourself, feeling shame around your creative abilities, your talents, your desires, your dreams. Like, I think when you bring in all of the aspects of who you are at the same time, that's when you get supercharged and become a superhero and capable of doing anything.
Yeah. Sounds similar, but definitely being authentic to yourself and knowing what feels right, sits right, and also just sticking to that passion and making sure you're in line with your passion.
Fantastic.
Thank you all for sharing your time and your light with us. We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show. All of these interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the show is streaming Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on EverTalk TV, available on Apple TV.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to this amazing, extraordinary human being, and have a great transformational Tuesday.
It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.